What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel, man. It has been a long time coming. We haven't made a video in, seems like, forever. So we're doing some work here on Project EgoBruise. Finally get this ball rolling on this girl. So we got some few things. We're going to install some subframe connectors. We're going to install this AC condenser, and then we're going to also try to fit the intercooler. Hopefully try to squeeze it on in the video. We'll see. But yeah, I want to get right to it. No talk. Listen, guys, I'm sorry I've been absent. I've been just dealing with all kinds of crap. Had COVID, then I got the flu all through the holidays, so was sick for like a month during the holidays. But hey, we're good now. I'm ready. It's beautiful weather right now here in Texas. We're not feeling any cold weather, so I'm ready to get started on this girl. Gotta get this thing built. Let's get to it. And if this is your first time to the channel, Project EgoBruise is our 1979 Mustang Coupe. We are fitting a 2016 R15 2.3 liter EgoBoost turbo motor in, and we're doing it with style. That's what it is. The last video we installed the Volvo power steering pump here. This is an electric hydraulic power steering pump. As you can see, I have not done a whole lot to it except for this relay. I wanted to share this with you guys. This is really, really cool. This is what they call a delay relay. And the way that this is going to work, this is wired how I'm going to have it wired completely, except for the main power wire. But this will turn the pump on. This has a built-in relay internally in the computer. It also has an ECU built into it, so you can actually use CAN bus speed, variable speed control and stuff like that for the pump. What I wanted to do is have this thing turn on with a delay. I wanted to make sure it was turning on, not the second I turn the key on, because when the car is hot, and as soon as we turn the key on to crank it, we're going to have electric fans running, and we're going to have power steering pump running. I don't want to put too much of a draw on the system so the car won't start. Okay, so I learned my lessons with this car, and this is awesome. It's very, very simple. You hook it up just like any other normal relay, except there's a 10-second built-in delay. So as soon as this receives power, it'll wait 10 seconds before clicking the relay on, which in turn will tell the pump to turn on and send power to the pump. So that is pretty cool. I'll share a link here in the video. This thing can be useful for so many things. I mean, you could put these on your fan, put it on a key-on source so that, you know, as you're cranking, 10 seconds later the fans will kick on. That way your fans aren't drawing all that power you need to crank your car. So it can be useful for a lot of things. So that's pretty cool. You gotta get wiring tied up for that. But if you go up front here, let's talk a little bit about the intercooler. So the intercooler obviously is just kind of wired in place, trying to get an idea of where to put it so that I can route the hoses, you know, or route the charge pipe here around and snag it to here. So it's going to go from there to there, and from here over to that one right there. So we'll have to have some custom hoses made, but I wanted to keep it in a spot where it's high enough so that it doesn't, you know, hit the ground, and that it can also pass through here, the bumper support. So I already test fit the old 79 AC condenser with the intercooler here, and the problem is, guys, is that the 79 condenser has the dryer built onto it, which I really like because it gets rid of the dryer where you typically have it there on your fender well against the passenger side fender well. But the problem with this is that it's too much room, or it creates too much of a problem, especially with a thicker intercooler. with a radiator. So all that has to fit right here, which means it sticks out, which means this was having a hard time, you know, fitting as well. So I'm hoping that converting to a more standard, basically a later model, I think probably like an 85 or 6, something like that, and up style AC system, will be better off also with the hoses, you know, quick click style connections versus your, you know, the screw on here. So I had a hell of a time getting that intercooler to fit this style of bumper. Okay, the non-GT style that comes straight out have a lot more room. So your LXs and your early GTs and your early style cars, you know, they're going to have more of a taper here, so they're going to have more of a fitment issue. So you can see in here I had to get rid of my fog lights. There's no way to use my fogs because the intercooler piping here on this car. So we do not want to cut this bumper. That's the goal. So this is my Mishimoto Universal Intercooler, and this is a very standard one, a very popular one I put on Fox Mustangs. It's beef. The thing's pretty big, and it's super well made. I mean, look at this thing. It well done, or just absolutely phenomenal. So this is a badass intercooler, and as you guys know, you EcoBoost guys, the bigger the intercooler on these little EcoBoost motors, the better these things will run. The cooler will run. The stock intercooler on a 2015 Mustang has very, very tiny little intercooler. All right. All right, man, seriously, no need to overthink these. Really simple. Here's our upper brackets. We're gonna figure out the height, and we're gonna drill holes and rivet the bottom piece on. This will become permanently fixed to the AC condenser. So let's go try it out. Okay, I'm just kind of holding it on here. This is where we're gonna put the rivets, and you can see it goes right there. Now, luckily, hopefully get right there. See that? Okay, can you see it? Can you? Good. All right, hopefully this will work. Yeah, real simple. This side, whatever reason, needed a little bit more of a bend to it than this side did. No big deal. Luckily, I kept the hardware for it because, you know, that's what I do. I backed and tagged everything. So because of that, I got the original upper nuts here, or bolts. Yeah, so we can put the brackets in place first. And also, luckily, like these brackets here, these cage nuts that's set up in the frame, is the exact width of this newer style. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and screw this in, put the brackets on, and then we'll kind of get this marked where we want it, drill holes, rivet it, call it done, for the top at least. What the what? So hopefully you can see my idea now. So we get these kind of in place, riveted on both sides. All right, I'm using big, fat 1/4 inch rivets here. Put a piece of wood behind here so I don't, you know, slip and actually puncture the tubing here for the, we don't want to do that. All right, that should hold it on. I'm gonna go test fit this one real quick before we do the other side. One thing for sure, this is not going anywhere, and it's literally as tight up against the radiator as it possibly can be, which is what we need for all the room we can get for the intercooler, so we don't have to cut the bumper up. That's the purpose of all this, man. Man, I was hoping to use the stock bracket. Not gonna happen. The stock bracket just kind of goes on like this. You can see actually that's how far out the condenser would have sat from a stock setup. So we've moved it in quite a lot and tucked it up into the core support, which is what we have to do. But there's no way to make this work. It's just, you know, whatever. It's fine. We'll use some aluminum strap again, and we'll just get a simple bracket made to go from this hole to this one. Same deal. Same type deal as we did at the top here. Just replicate on the bottom. And that'll wrap up the AC condenser. Okay, again, very simple design, little piece of aluminum. I know it's not pretty, but I did sandblast it to give it kind of a matte look. And it's gonna go in the stock location here, just like so. Then we are going to drill this out here and rivet it. Okay, the core support is on and it's perfect. It's in a good spot. I know it's not pretty, it's just very functional, and that's the point. We're just trying to hold it up, keep it from moving, and hold it away from the radiator, which we've accomplished. And I've got a nice gap, if you see that in between there. So it's not actually touching, but I'm still gonna put some foam on this. Whenever I do assemble this, do the final assembly on it, because this is, again guys, not final assembly. This is all still mock-up. Once everything is built that needs to be built, it's all going to be pulled off, and we're going to do body work and paint on the engine bay, so the engine bay is nice and painted. So then we'll assemble everything, hook up the fuel system and everything. But anyways, I am going to put some foam here just to kind of keep it from rubbing up against the radiator that way, because it does move. And where it's moving is actually this really thin, cheap cradles here. You can see that's where it's flexing, which is kind of good. It gives it, you know, some, I guess, movability. It's not so quite as rigid as if it was mounted to the car from the vibration. So vibration, engine vibrations, and, you know, road vibrations, stuff like that, it won't, you know, constantly just hammer the solder points on there and the welds on there. So that's a good thing. We want a little bit of movement, which is good. Yep, so this thing is, it's almost 3 inches, not quite 3 inches. We've got 2 and
about 2 and 3/4. The ends will be 3 inches here, yeah. So this is 3 inches on this end. So really, it's considered a 3-inch. Lengthwise, we've got, let's see here, a little over 25 inches, and from outlet to intake, 31 inches, and tall, going from the tank size here, it's 1 foot tall exactly. So, yep. So that's kind of the dimensions we got on this. It's pretty standard FOXBODY material right here. Pretty much mirrors exactly the shape of the On3 Turbo intercooler. The On3 Turbo intercooler actually may be a little bit thicker, but this is light years better than the stock intercooler would have come on these little EcoBoost Mustangs. And this ought to help my air intake charge temperature. Going back to the intercooler here, we had 5 inches, I believe. So this is super important we get this correct, but we're gonna go back to mock-up. I'm just gonna get it on here just for now. That's 5 inches. This side is not, this side's high. Okay. All right, so you're asking me, Mike, how do you know the bumper is all the way in without the fenders and hood and brackets and everything else? Well, I don't. Holy crap, look at that. Like it was meant to be. Yeah! All right, so the bumper is on. It's very close, but it's not all the way in. It is actually hitting the intercooler here on the nose. Let's look at the bumper. Okay, so yeah, it is hitting. This can go in a little bit more. I mean, you see I could press it in and probably make it work, you know, by just compressing a screw. If I put screws in this right now and tighten it down, what I don't want to do is tweak this area right here and form a crack in it later down the road, okay? Because this is vintage goodness. Vintage goodness. Okay, this is like absolutely solid, man. I love this bumper. So I don't want to ruin it. But what we can do here is we can see where it's touching. In that case, it's just really that corner and this corner here. But luckily, we're not going to have to take out the bar. We're just going to have to clearance, you know, just a little bit of that area right there around the top here. So, and right here as well. So we're going to take very good care to do that. Okay, fender is on, front bumper is on. Okay, and it does. Cool. Where are we at? Well, that side may have slipped underneath. Yeah, see, now this is crooked again. Okay, well. All right, here's the deal, my FOXBODY family. This thing fits. Okay, I don't think I would have had to cut this. Actually, I don't think I should have cut this, you know, even notched this, because it's slipping underneath this top bar here, and I'm getting a light so I can explain this. It's slipping underneath the top bar there. I thought it was going to, you know, stick it out too far on the bottom, but here's the deal. Let's go down to the bottom, because this just slips under this bar right here. And it's actually in a really good spot. So I mean, you can see the intercooler with the grill. We got lots of placement in here, and I was like, well, what's going to happen is it's not going to fit down here. However, it actually fits perfect right there. This is where your cage nut goes. I need to bend this back, but it's essentially going to go right there. So it's fine. This whole bumper, once it's bolted up, has, you know, plenty of room. There is no flex there. And I actually like this better because I didn't really want to put straps on the outside. I don't think we have to. I think what we can do is actually weld some support. Just a flat piece of metal directly across the core support here, and straddles the bottom of the intercooler, holding it up right here. And I think it's actually in a perfect spot because it fits. And get up in there. Come on, get up in there. There you go. So there's the outlet. It is not hitting the bumper. It's close, but it's not. It has perfect alignment to come around and then go into here. And it fits down here, so I don't have to cut the bumper at all any more than I already did. And I sort of regret doing that, but at least I used a used a round file and, you know, didn't damage it.
I got a feeling though, once it's all in place, the hard part now is getting this thing exactly where it is right now and welded in place with supports and everything. So it basically can't move. And on top of that, we've got to have the angle. So the bottom of it is actually angled out like this. If you look at the car, the bottom intercooler is slightly out like this. It's got a little bit of a lean to it so that it fits inside those grooves in the bottom of the bumper, the holes. I got to keep that. If I tilt it back this way, they're not going to fit. We're going to have rounding out the bottom of those holes. Don't want to do that. So we need to somehow keep this bumper exactly where it is and start building the top support mounts for it. By the way, in case you haven't noticed, I like to point out that I'm wearing an LMR shirt. And no, I'm not sponsored by them by any means, but they are my favorite go-to Mustang place, okay? I've had good luck with the guys up there. They've always been really cool. They know me. They're pretty cool. They sponsor Brutal and like Foxcast and maybe some other folks. But hey, it doesn't matter. My butt hurt. I like LMR. They're local here. They got great prices. I really do like those guys. So no plug. Just want to throw it out there. You think I'm sporting this shirt because I'm affiliated with something? Sponsored? Not at all. This video is, however, sponsored by AJE Suspension, who has supplied me the K-member and the front-end suspension. Thank you, AJE, for that. They have a modular K-member that fits the EgoBruise, as you can see here. That's cool. And DeWitt's radiator. Thank you, DeWitt's, for giving me such an awesome custom-built radiator for our EgoBruise build. Project EgoBruise. All right, got them at least painted black, kind of help hide them a little bit here, hide the crappy welds, that is. But yeah, let's go ahead and fit the intercooler. Now you noticed, actually let me show you this real quick. So I kind of beveled, or I kind of put that lip on it angled in. That's gonna lock the bottom in place because it's gonna lock into this groove right here. And then I left a little bit of room here so we can put, you know, some sort of a padding on it. I'm gonna probably put some 3M, you know, rubber foam on the bottom just so it lays on some foam. So I made up for that and didn't, you know, squeeze it, you know, straight up against the bottom of the intercooler. So there's a little bit of an air gap between that that space, so we can put some sort of a foam in it to keep it kind of, you know, nestled on something soft. So anyways, let's sit in here and start working on the top mount. Okay, look at that, it just sits in exactly where it's supposed to go. Let's see if I got it right here. We should have 5.5 inches, and we do, So, man, it's perfect. Look at that. So I'm gonna take this wire off because I think it's laying exactly the spot we need. Okay, I'm gonna put the bumper on now, and we are going to get an idea on all the mounting points here. So I gotta make sure we don't cover up this here. This is where your little 90-degree angle brackets connect to the top of your bumper. This right here is your hood latch, and we've got room in between. So I'm thinking here and here is going to be a perfect spot. Well, some flat stock. We're going to go straight to here, straight to there, and use some, not flat stock, but we're going to use some round bar from here to there. Oh, so far so good. It's perfect. Yes. Oh. Man, did we nail it or what? Cool. All right, so it is just underneath that lip right there. Putting this fender on it, got a little bit of play, movement here, so that's good. Downstairs, we've got our perfect alignment here with the bumper. So notice how that goes flush, no weird angles. Can't even see the brackets I made, which is cool. It just somehow happens to go right behind that. No sagginess, and the intercooler's right there. So
Yep, that's where we wanted it.
Okay, instead of welding onto the core support, the upper core support, I went out and borrowed one of these tools from my friend. He's down the street. And anyways, these are these inserts. And they take a little bit of practice to use, but these are basically threaded inserts. They're rivet on. They're called like nut inserts or something like that. I'm not sure. There's a name for these things. I know what they are, but anyways, these are stainless steel M6 metric. I had to run to the store and get some metric bolts. I want this to look nice because this is going to be painted. You know, it's going to be right up top. So we're going to put these in here now. I went ahead and practiced a few times on some sheet metal because it does take a little bit of practice to get the settings correct and the mic compression and all that stuff. So if you over compress these, you can kind of screw it up, drill it out, mess it up. So anyways, that's where we're going to go. That's the direction we're going to go. And yeah, nice tight fit here. Going to tap these in. All right, so I measured 4 inches from the edge of here to there. Make sure it was out of the way of our 90-degree brackets. Make sure it was out of the way of this. And what we're going to be doing is building a flat stock steel, and we'll have a standoff that's essentially going to go, you know, right up to here, weld up there with a hole in it. So this whole bracket will be removable. And these stainless steel inserts are really nice because now they're permanently fixed. They're inset. They look flush. And then I've got these stainless steel metric, you know, hex nut button nuts here, or button bolts here, what do you call them? So that'll go in like that. That'll give it a nice kind of clean look. Being that it's up top, you open the hood, you're going to see that area in that bracket. So instead of just welding it on, since my welding kind of sucks, we're going to put this on like this. Cool. Now we got to make the bracket. Finally, I think I wasted like 2 hours just running around town and getting bolts, getting the inserts, and then the tool and everything. But anyways, we're rocking now. My bench area is cleaned up for you guys. You're welcome. So here they are. Brackets are done. I can't say I'm very impressed with my welds. In fact, I'm pretty embarrassed. But hey, whatever. This is where you need a TIG welder. I just don't do radiuses very good, but they're strong and they're brackets. And I try to media blast it to kind of knock some of the ugly off of them. So that didn't work. But once we paint it black, it'll help hide it all up. So we'll paint these guys, satin black, everything else on the car. But let's go test fit it. This will center it back up. Just going to snug these down. All right, guys, man, there it is. There it is. The bumper on, and it fits. Everything fits. It's tucked nice, neat in there, angled slightly forward. Our body lines are a little bit, it's not on all the way. I didn't see that, but that's because it's, there we go. Bottom is good. See? We good? Nothing cut. And yeah. Paint those brackets black, but otherwise, man, it's pretty good. Pretty impressed. I like it. And what's cool about it is you don't have, you can see those stripes. Well, they'll be painted black, so you won't be able to see them like you can now. But man, when you first open up the hood, the first thing you look at you know, is the grill and all the way back forward, you know, towards the engine. But you're going to see this. This is something noticeable to me. It's just a little bit cleaner, a little bit better looking than, you know, your standard just steel strapped, screwed into the, you know, just, you know, metal screwed into your core support, something like that. So anyways, it's not perfect. All right, the brackets have been media blasted and painted SEM satin black. Of course, that is my choice of paint for everything on this car. In fact, I had to order some more today on Amazon to get some more in. But if you ask me, it looks a lot better. Definitely hides the burger welds and kind of blends in nice, just how I want it. And it's nice and sturdy. And once we do final assembly, we'll add some padding down here. Also, I figured while the bumper was out, you know what? It might be a good time to go ahead and stick the hardware, strip the hardware out, put it in the media blaster, get all the hardware cleaned up, and also clean up these nasty bumper supports. So these two have been media blasted and then now painted with SEM black. If you ask me, they came out really, really good, nice and new looking. So the bumper will get painted too, just because even though you don't see it, you don't look at it, it's still just peace of mind, knowing that we got some of this rust covered. So what I'm about to do is put some OSFO. I've got some OSFO up here. This stuff is really good. It's what I use on the cowl panel. It's a rust neutralizer. So we'll OSFO neutralize the bumper. And then, of course, it's thick steel. And then I'm going to go ahead and paint this with KBS rust coat. That way it'll just protect the same pretty much for the life of me, at least. So the bumper will look nice and new, even when you don't see it. It's fine. It's just knowing that I took care of the rust and all the hardware while I was here. I want this car to be nuts and bolts restored. Now, you may be noticing, hey, Mike, you cut the bumper. You know what I did? I knew I was going to have this area clear for the intercooler. Turns out I don't need it. And I probably will go ahead and weld these back together. However, the way that I've made these brackets here on this on this front mount, how I put kind of a tapered angle here on it like that, you have to lean the intercooler back to lift it up and out. I did it on purpose. You know, it kind of helps lock it in place. And again, that rattle's going to go away, guys. We're going to put some foam there, I promise. So it won't be rattling when we drive around the car, you know, driving around. But anyways, that angle right there kind of locks it in place, but to get it out, you have to angle it forward. So I don't need the bottom ones, and I know it's probably compromised a little bit of, you know, strength, of course, if I get some sort of a front-end collision. But I've kept them all for this reason. So they're all in here, and, you know, I could easily just weld these back. But listen, guys, I'm going to end this video here. We didn't get to the subframe connectors. I'll do a separate video on subframe connectors because I'm just kind of going on this right now and I want to kind of keep going. But I think this video is getting pretty long for just the intercooler and AC condenser mount. So I'm going to kind of end it here. We're getting close. It's all really about electrical, fuel, brakes, and finishing the tubing. And this thing will probably fire up. That being said, it'll be a while, guys, because I am going to strip everything back apart again and even probably pull the motor out. Get everything off the car, including suspension, back to a shell so that we can paint it. I know it's a lot of work, but that's the kind of length we're going to here, trying to make this car really nice. So that's what we'll be doing, stripping it all back together. This is all really just test fitting. So when I got to weld something, I can without having to worry about ruining paint or cutting holes, ruining paint, scratching paint. And again, if you don't recall, just the quick image, if you can somehow squint your eyes and look at this and think, what's it going to look like, Mike? It's going to be low. It's going to be badass. Leaning towards bronze wheels for it. It's going to be avalanche gray, which is a slightly off-white gray that Ford made on the Raptors and Cobras in, I think, 2017. It's a really unique color, and it's a Ford color. It's going to look really good on this car because the car was originally polar white. So, enough rambling. I'm done. We'll see you guys another time. I'm going to keep at it. These look really good, don't they? Nice. All right, hey. Guys, hey, check it out. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, okay? Also, go to houseofdoula.com. You can get to my Instagram there. You can also get to all these YouTube channels and see all the projects we're working on. And also, you can get to my merch if you're into that thing. If you care that much about this little channel, you can get yourself a t-shirt. That's cool. So, anyways, go check that out if you want. And if not, just subscribe. It helps me out a little bit. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time here in my garage on House of Doula. Take care.